Welcome to the FE Bar. I'm your host, Jack George Maynard, and joining me, as always, is the Mr. Jack Pickering. And tonight's a bit of a weird one because we're not going to be on air for about 30 minutes because Sylvain Filippi will be answering your questions a little bit later on. So thank you so much for everybody who sent in your questions. We're very much looking forward to it. And I'm just going to let the music run out. Mr. Pickering. How are you, my friend?
I wasn't sure if I was supposed to start. I wasn't sure what was happening there.
I was just letting the music finish off because it was a little bit...
Okay,
just a short intro.
I don't know what music. I've got it muted on the other side.
Yeah,
so,
well, the intro music's finished. How are you, mate?
Listening to you once is enough. I'm not going to listen to you on a 20-second delay. It will mess with my head. Yeah, no, I'm fine.
Oh, your mic went there.
Oh yeah, no, it's because yeah, it's the camera mic, not the other mic, because that's still downstairs. Because even though I have made it back from Spain eventually,
you haven't reset up. You've been lazy.
I haven't reset it.
I've been lazy.
You've been lazy. Don't worry, I'll sort it out.
Terrible from you. You've been back 3 weeks.
Been back 2 weeks. The less said about that Thursday into Friday, the better.
Oh my God, yes. You missed the flight. How can we forget?
We know half of it.
Maybe we'll get into that a little bit later on.
Yeah. Because,
your mic has gone. Yeah. It's amazing that we've started this and I haven't noticed it once. And as soon when we were talking post, and now that we've gone live, your mic's just I didn't even notice.
You know what? That is what I'll do while Sylvain's talking. I'll set up the mic.
Yeah, that's what I think is a good thing, actually. A good thing to do. So yeah, obviously we've got Sylvain Filippi. We're gonna thankfully our colleague Jasmine Hughes did the interview earlier today and got some of your questions. Unfortunately, time constraints was one thing, and we had a lot of questions, Mr. Pico, and unfortunately not everyone's we were able to squeeze in. So if your question didn't get in...
is this the bit where you asked me the questions that we're going to ask to Sylvain,
no.
and I put on a fake French accent and say some words? Or...
No, well, we could try. We could try that.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
to be fair, wouldn't be the first time I try French today.
Unfortunately, not everyone's question was asked. We tried to ask. Obviously, we asked some questions too because the aim of the interview, what we tried to do was we tried to fill in the blanks. So where the fans had asked questions, obviously you guys had asked questions that we could ask, and we were like, well, so what have the fans asked and what haven't they not asked? And then we thought, well, they have not asked this, so we'll try and fill in the blanks. But with time constraints, it meant that we couldn't get everything, and obviously we wanted the most well constructed interview, because obviously even for us getting hold of Sylvain Filippi on a day like this, it doesn't come around every week. It's not like I can phone up Sylvain tomorrow and say, hey, can we just have another chat? People got lives.
Yeah, I could probably take pride in saying, can we have Sylvain again?
I've got hilariously, right, been preparing for this interview, right? I was like WhatsApp, and I put I don't know why I put SY in. I've got Sylvain Filippi's number in my phone. I was like, I can't remember having Sylvain Filippi's number in my phone, but I was like, okay, cool. But I didn't even know it was there. Alexander Sims is another one I've got on my phone somewhere. Don't know why I've got Alexander Sims's phone number on my phone. I do remember why I have Alexander Sims's number on my phone. It's just in interview situations, but hilarious. So unless there's anything that we need to add, I don't think there's much else that we need to add before playing the interview. Yes, there is. So stay tuned after the interview because we've got a quiz, and I think you're going to love it. Right, we've got a quiz to round out the show because the interview itself is about 30 minutes, so it'll be 30 minutes. You guys chin. So last 20 minutes, I've got some quiz questions, right? But we need your help. So Pico has absolutely no idea what the question is, no idea. I think he'll be quite good at answering it, to be fair, but it will test his knowledge. However, he may need your help.
Free practice too at the season 5.
No, it's not like that. It's not. It's a question It's a question not like that at all. And I reckon it encompasses the full 10 years of Formula E, which is what I like so far. So and both questions do. So if we get onto that, so do stick around because we will be doing the quiz, and then you can join !Discord If you're not in the Discord, then get in the Discord. And also, please hit the like and subscribe button as well if you are new around here. We massively need your support. And thank you everyone who's here. And thank you to Natalie and Nicola that are in chat already. And if you're in chat and haven't said hi yet, say hello, hello. We're going to play the interview now, and then we'll do the quiz afterwards. So you will hear from us in about half an hour's time, and I will now pass you over to Jasmine, who spoke to Sylvain Filippi, and I got him to answer your questions a little bit earlier today.
Hi, Sylvain. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. So we've had some fans write in with their questions on our Formula E Zone Discord and on Reddit. So I'm going to sort of start with just asking you a couple of questions from our end, then we'll move on to the fan questions, if that all sounds good.
Sounds great.
Perfect. So I think the ideal place to start is kind of going way back. So let's start right at the beginning. What was it that made you want to get involved in Formula E? Was there anything that really stood out to you about the racing series, or what was like that main pull factor?
Great question. It could be a long answer, so I'll keep it short. I guess I was one of the few people from the very beginning really, really interested or passionate even by racing, but also electric car technology. So you might know or not, but prior to Formula E, I had already created my startup on electric racing called EV Cup. So it was basically the precursor of Formula E. So I had basically already been working on electric racing for a few years on my own project. And then FIA created Formula E, and it made complete sense to get involved. And then, after a few discussions, getting involved with the team was just a super opportunity. So I didn't need any convincing, quite the opposite. I was a very outspoken ambassador for the series, and then being already very convinced myself of the potential of the technology. But 10 years ago, it sounds obvious now, but 10 years ago it was not so obvious. Like people could not really picture fast racing with electric cars. So
yeah,
it was a great period of my life actually.
Oh, brilliant. And sort of kind of thinking back, did you ever imagine that you'd be in this position now, that you would be the team principal of a racing team and a team that's won the championship, no less?
Yeah, well, you never know what's happening in life, right? Like when I started, so I used to work for the car industry, right? For Mercedes, BMW, Mercedes, and others. Then I worked in consulting in England. That was almost 20 years ago. And yeah, you never know, right? As I said, I got this crazy idea for mixing EV tech and racing, and that was 2009 and 10 when we started the project, and then formally we got involved in 2013. So at that stage, I had no family, no kids. Like you can take risks and do whatever you're passionate about. So at the time, it's really the short answer is no. You have no idea where you're gonna end up. But for sure, I found the project, the topic, and the people you meet along the way, and all the PR we generated at the time, and all of this really exciting. And then as soon as the momentum took off, which was almost instantly with Formula E, then there was never really no doubt in my mind that this would work one way or another, right? And then after that, frankly, you're just focused on the job. You have so much to do. The early years of Formula E, we were one of the teams that started from scratch. You have to remember, right? We were fighting against dams. EDAMS, APT, all these teams that were already racing in other categories. But our team was brand new for Formula E. So we had to find, workshop, team, engineers, mechanics, all of this. We had to build from scratch. So there was no shortage of work at the beginning. So you're not really thinking, well, I'm going to be in 10 years' time. You're in full startup mode. Make it happen and then see where you end up.
Absolutely. And I think that's quite interesting. You mentioning kind of obviously you started from bare bones, right? So taking from that season one start to now, how has the series kind of evolved?
Wow, a lot in the short answer. But yeah, as I said at the beginning, if you summarize, teams like ours who started from scratch as a blank sheet of paper, it was really hard work at the beginning to get things going. But then it also gave us an advantage because we were fully dedicated to Formula E when others were doing Formula E and other championships. So it was hard work and the teething issues of building a team. But on the flip side, we were working Monday to Friday and even the weekends on Formula E. So it gave us that focus. But the sport has changed completely, right? Like the teams have more than doubled in size operationally. Obviously, the technology is night and day. Like season one, all the cars were identical, which is the only way you start a championship. Season two, Renault and ours and a few other, we were a bit crazy and built our own cars that were nothing like optimal, but that was a bigger upgrade on season one. And after that, the technology roadmap was so aggressive, and the cars made big steps every year. Season 3 and 4, and then Gen 2, and then the story. So the sport now is completely unrecognizable. I mean, now many kind of independent observers, our partners and media and so on that come and spend the race weekend with us and so on. They cannot believe how sophisticated and how professional Formula E is. The amount, and simply that's driven by the complexity of the technology. We don't have an IC engine, but we have two powertrains, a whole bunch of software, and a lot to do to make these cars, just to make these cars work, let alone be fast. You need a lot of engineers and mechanics to make that work. So, yeah, the sport has changed considerably, but for the better. I'm a big believer that the cars have to be exciting. They have to be as fast as we can make them. That's what really captures fans' imagination, right? They need to look at the Formula E car and think, "Wow, this is a monster of a car. This is super impressive." And you only get there with complex technology, right? So
yeah, absolutely. And kind of leading on from that, where do you think the series might be in sort of 5 or 10 years' time? Where do you think it'll be, and where would you love it to be?
Yeah, a good question. We spend a lot of time on that, and I think there's two parts to the answer, right? You have the technology side, the roadmap, and then you have the sport itself. So on the technology side, well, you can see on the FIA website, the tender for the key parameters of the Gen 4 cars are already out. So you can see that, we're aiming a car that is significantly faster in Gen 4 than Gen 3, which again, we were in Madrid 2 weeks ago for a test, and the Gen 3 car on all-wheel drive is very impressive. It's very fast. I was on the pit wall, which I never get to do on race weekends. And the car's acceleration, the way they pick up speed is unbelievable, really. So, and they were reaching, 250 kph at the end of the straights, which was a short straight because we put a chicane in the middle, right? So the way they pick up speed is super impressive. But Gen 4, we're aiming for, which is the car in 2 years' time, we're aiming for a bigger battery, more power, more of everything, more downforce, more grip, and that will generate a much faster car. So I've seen some simulation that's really exciting in terms of lap time and performance and so on, but it's a bit too early to say. So, but yeah, and then Gen 4 takes us 2026 to 2030, right? So that we will have a car that is exactly what I want to see, which is very impressive, a monster of a car. People. I believe one of the reasons why people are so passionate about Formula One is not really just the racing itself. You can argue the racing is not the best out of all the racing out there. But if you look at a Formula One car, even static in a garage, it's really impressive. You know what this car can do.
It's very visually striking.
Yeah, exactly. And the specs, that this thing is a beast, right? And I think Formula needs to create the electric equivalent of that, like a very striking, very powerful car. So that's where the sport is going on the technical side. And then on the kind of media broadcast platform, it's quite simple. We have really ambitious objectives to grow the sport significantly, because this is what's needed to fuel the system. Like we need the sport to grow significantly year on year. That translates into more sponsorship revenues, more partners coming on board, more fans being involved, and it becomes a virtuous cycle. So I believe the product is great. The racing is fantastic. The cars are great. Teams, drivers, like we have all the ingredients. We need to work very closely with FEO, the promoter, to make sure that we ultimately double the size of the sport in the next 6-8 years. And the more people, I really believe the more people get a chance to be exposed to Formula E, watch Formula E a lot, then a lot of people like it and will keep watching it. And it's a good format. Like the racing just under an hour and all this. There's a lot of good things about Formula E. So we need to make sure that people get the chance to see it, find it, see it, and then ultimately get hooked and keep watching. That's the aim of the sport. The size matters. We need a really large platform to make sure that we are reaching as many people as possible.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, when you see the passion with among fans, there's no issue with the product. It's just you almost want to like take that passion, just like spread it wider, right? There's so much excitement, especially with Gen 4, when you see people discussing it, I think there's so much positivity about where the series is going to go, which is really nice to see and must
Yeah.
be amazing for you guys as well.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a fine line for the FIA, for Formula E, and obviously we're involved as well. It's a fine line to keep developing that roadmap and keep developing these cars to make them faster and faster and more exciting. But also we need to keep a good racing product. The
Hmm.
racing needs to be exciting, right? And it's not from history. It's not easy to do, like getting that fine line between the two. But we need, I think Formula E has been brilliant at it for the last many years on getting that balance right. And we need to keep doing that. So I'm obviously very biased, but I really believe the product is great. We just need to show it to everybody, and then once the sport in itself grows, then we will be able to develop even more amazing technology and even quicker, and then it becomes a real virtuous cycle.
Yeah, absolutely. So just ask you a couple of questions about, what you think about the season ahead before we move on to the fan questions. So
Yeah,
how do you think the preseason testing went in Madrid for the team? What was the sort of feeling there?
yeah. Well, for us, so there were a lot more variables than previous years, is the short answer. So for us, we had a lot to do. So even though it's called Gen 3 Evo, Gen 3.5, it's actually it's a big Evo. It's more than an
Yeah.
evolution. So we have brand new tires that have a different characteristic, more grip. So we have to restart from scratch all the work on tires and the tire modeling, which is tricky and takes a lot of testing. And of course, for Envision as a customer team, we get far fewer test days than the manufacturer team. So typically, tire modeling and things like this are a bit more tricky. Like we need testing for that. So for us, really, it was a huge learning curve because we have a new powertrain from Jaguar, which is great. A lot of excitement on the potential of that powertrain. But as always, when you have brand new everything on a race car, there's a lot to figure out. So it reminded me a bit of season 9, better than season 9 because we were more prepared, of course, but there's a lot to learn. So new tires, obviously the all-wheel drive system is a major change. It's like a new car, really. Normally you set up a race car, a real-wheel drive car has a certain of being set up. An all-wheel drive car is usually completely different, even in the way it's designed. The weight distribution, the balance of the car, all of this will be completely different. Here we are trying to do both. We are trying to have a race car that is both rear-wheel drive and needs to be really good and drivable on rear-wheel drive for
Yeah.
quality in the race, but we also need a car that is really drivable and really efficient on all-wheel drive to make the most of attack mode and the duels and so on. And that's I can't imagine that's been done many times in motorsport, to be honest, to have a car that's both, it's usually one or the other. So that's a huge challenge. First mechanically, and secondly, on the software control side, you hear a lot of that in Formula E, but getting these two powertrains to work in tandem and in harmony, both on regen, but now on traction as well, is huge. If you start using the front powertrain on traction, all your balance setup, all this goes out of the window. You have to rewrite everything. So short answer, a huge amount of work to do, like one of the busiest test week we've ever had because
Yeah.
of the sheer volume of new things involved. But we had a really great week, a lot of mileage, no significant reliability issues. So yeah, we've ticked a lot of items and but it's the beginning. So I think what you will see is the first few races of the season. You'll see a bit of a mix and match because teams like ours will still be figuring out like how we extract the most of that car. Like in season 9, we started on the back foot,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and then 3, 4 races in, we were flying and we were the fastest.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping for the same in
Fingers
season.
crossed.
Yeah, in season 11. I'm hoping for I expect the beginning might be a bit all over the place, but quite quickly we'll have figured out how to extract the performance, and then hopefully a really competitive season.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, I know the fans want to see it. There's some big Envision fans in our Discord, and they're just fingers crossed, looking forward to the new season. Um,
Yeah.
so what did you make of the pit boost race in Madrid? What were your kind of thoughts on that?
Well, you have to remember the objectives really. Well, it was a race, but it was not really a race, right? Like you're trying not to crash on the in testing, right?
Yeah.
But it was really useful, a lot really for the FIA also and the broadcast and all these people to figure out the dynamic of a race, right? So for us, it was mostly like a procedure check, right? Making sure we haven't done pit stops in a few years, so making sure that we are slick on the pit stop procedures. That's in order to people, and then of course the boost chart itself, like the make sure everything's working. So from our side, it was actually pretty good, pretty seamless with no big issue. Everything worked well. Um, so that's the first step. But of course, there's a whole other angle, which is the strategy of it, right? Like when to pit and when to use that,
Yeah.
and we'll have to. So yeah, we haven't done it for what 6 years. So we need to kind of regain the rhythm of all the simulation and all the work that goes around a pit stop. And it's basically when we do our race prep week at Silverstone the week before race, basically. That's now adding a whole new level of preparation needed, which is all the simulation around all different scenarios on pit stop, depending on the track layout, how many laps, and depending on so many factors. There are also some technical regulations around the charger and battery that we need to comply with. So yeah, it's a whole new dimension compared to last year. We still have all the car complexity, plus a lot more complexity on all-wheel drive, plus now the complexity of the pit stop as well. So there's
Yeah.
a lot going on in the Formula E race this coming season. So yeah, it went well. Now we are waiting for the final kind of validation and findings from the FIA on what's going to happen.
Yeah. And how important do you think it is for Formula E that we kind of get this technology right? And what do you think the real world implications of it are?
Well, I like the messaging. I mean, as you know, like again, Formula E is big picture. Formula is set up to do two things, right? And that's really it. First one is develop amazing tech, which we are. Like the technology in these cars is much, much greater than even the best electric quad cars, which is how it should be, more efficient, lighter, and all these things. So we need to develop great technology, and obviously we need to broadcast it to as many people as possible to have a large impact. But back on the technology, we know what technology needs to be developed, right? The powertrains are getting so good, so efficient that soon we're going to get into diminishing returns on efficiency, right? Once we get to 95, 96% full system efficiency, it's going to get very, very marginal improvement from now on, which is still exciting, but it's already so good, so that makes sense. Battery energy density, battery power density, these things can only need to get better all the time. So
Yeah.
or given the amount of volume and weight, store more energy and being able to discharge it faster is really what will help adoption of electric cars, right? Like go further on a charge on range for a given volume and weight is really important. And then of course the other element is fast charging. Once we have reliable fast charging everywhere where we live, then we don't need really big batteries in our cars anymore. We don't need to keep increasing battery size and weight and cost ultimately to cars. We will be able to find a sweet spot of battery capacity that is plenty enough for all the 95% of trips that we do. And then for the occasional long trip, we will know it's really important to know that you have a reliable charging system along motorways. So on charging, then it's like on power and everything else, the more the better. So at the moment, in the UK, but you can, if you have a Tesla or many others, you can charge at 150, 200 kilowatt very reliably. I do it a lot. The best standard at the moment is about 350 kilowatts. That's the Porsche Taycan, and a few cars can accept that on some specific 350 kilowatt chargers. But that's on a very small part of the SoC range, and then it tapers down. So anyway, you're looking at between 100, 300. That's kind of the best, kind of state of the art at the moment. And the technology that we are testing is 600, so double the absolute current best. And that's really exciting because in 30 seconds we're able to add 10% of charge to the battery, which is unbelievable. So the whole point again of motorsport, try that technology, make it safe and reliable over time, and then when it trickles down to motorways. And if that means that in the future all the chargers on the motorways are 300 plus, 400 kilowatts, That means for most people, it's a 10-15 minute stop to charge,
Yeah.
which is pretty transparent. I mean, already find that 20 minutes, it's almost too quick because when you stop, by the time you go get a coffee and something to eat or whatever, usually the car is ready before you are. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but like ultimately, fast charging, reliable, safe, very fast charging in combination with range and so on is really what will trigger this mass adoption of electric cars. So Formula is staying true to its DNA, which is develop technology that's relevant to road cars, and that's the next big topic.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really interesting insights. Thank you, Sylvain. So I'm just going to move on to some of the fan questions now. And
Sure.
I'm going to start with a question from Nikki. So Nikki would like to know, how did you feel when Envision won the team championship in 2023?
Oh, all sort of emotions. Because you have to remember, like, it was on such a knife edge, right? Like, it came down to the final lap of the
Yeah.
final race, right? Of what had been a really competitive season, right? We had obviously an amazing season, but so the others. So until the last few seconds, generally, like you don't see that very often in sports, we didn't know whether we'd win it or not, So yeah, it's hard to describe, but obviously once you cross the line and we know we've done it, by a few points, it's hard to describe really because, for me, I think I said in interviews at the time, I said, look, I've waited 9 years for this, Like we started the team, it was winning in Formula E is not easy. Like you're fighting a lot of amazing teams and manufacturers and amazing, very clever people and drivers. So it's one of the hardest. And if you ask anyone, drivers teams, they'll tell you the same thing. It's one of the hardest championship to win. So when you win it, it feels so special because it's no one's given it to you. So yeah, an amazing feeling of you can't really describe of pure happiness but really mostly for me being involved from the beginning and kind of having built this team over many years. It was mostly actually mostly pride as well. Like ultimately,
Yeah.
I had Leon and Mike and all my team around me that's been with me for years. And drivers obviously, and then like all these people that have around me for years and years and years and years. It really felt like this amazing team result, right? Like
Yeah.
where all of us, some of the mechanics engineers have been in the team for 7, 8, 9 years or so. And then so to win it felt really amazing for them because, like it's a definition of a team effort. So yeah, pretty amazing. And then the rest is a bit of a blur, to be honest. Like,
I bet.
them celebrate. Obviously, we are based in the UK, so we had all our families and friends there. So we were hundreds of us celebrating by the podium. And my family, my 2 young daughters on the podium with me, afterward with my wife, and it's just pretty amazing moments. Really, you can't really. Nothing else gives you that than sport, really. So amazing moments, and then frankly, it gets really busy, right? Because despite having won the championship, the engineer drivers still want to have a debrief and still want to talk about things. And then obviously I had a lot of PR to do and engagement and so on. So all of it is it's a bit of a blur, but yeah, amazing feeling. And then that's what sport does to you. It's a bit of a good drug, right? Like you want to experience it again. So that's what keeps you going, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a question here from Natalie. She said, well, we kind of covered this, but another reason, like another thing that you think maybe has changed in the series, what perhaps with the fan side, what do you think sort of changed there?
Do you mean over the 10 years?
Yeah, sort of from season 1 to now, how do you feel the team's engagement with fans has changed?
Yeah, good question. Well, we do try, obviously, it's an easy one in a way that we always try to do better and be more creative and engage fans and people the best way we can, right? So obviously you have the race team, race activations, people on site and so on, but we try to also do a lot as much as we can for those who can't be there at races. So, you might have seen all our sustainable chain activations and like we're trying to do a lot on the sustainability side because ultimately we don't sell cars, right? At Envision, like we do everything else: the renewable energy, the batteries, charging, all of it. We do everything but the car. So the purpose of the race team really is to inspire people to realize that electric mobility powered by renewable energy is really cool and it's a future that's going to be great. So we try to use the platform of the racing team to, of course, the racing is the exciting bit, it's the platform, it's the thing that engages everyone, but it's a great opportunity to talk about the bigger picture, right? So we try to do all of that through, we do a lot of side events at races, we do some online events, we try to do a lot of things as much as we can. You can always do more, right? We are more, it's a resource, we are resource limited like any other business, but we try to engage fans in the best way we can, and I really love the sustainable pledge that we launched a few years ago, where fans pledge to do one or they have the choice of many things they can do to try to help the environment, and that creates such a great community, right? Like which I really love. And we have this great, again, I'm a bit biased, but we are one of the founding teams. We'll be there from the beginning. It's the same people, and it's like we want to be one of the absolute pillars of Formula E, right? So sometimes you see some manufacturers coming and going, but if we do a good job, teams tend to stay and become a key pillar of a championship, and that's what we are trying to be in Formula E. And then usually, hopefully, it resonates quite well with fans because we have a very steady, undiluted messaging. Like we try to be very clear on what we stand for and what our values are, and stick by them, and then hopefully that people can see that, right? Like that's the aim.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really interesting. I like that idea of kind of committing to your values. I think that resonates a lot with different fans. We've got a question here from Blake, and he said, "What's it like being the director for Envision, and what complexities does the job come with?"
Well, I think first it's obviously very exciting. That's why, the hard work, it's obviously very hard work, like any jobs in motorsport, but it's also really exciting. The complexity comes from just how diverse the job is. Like, so, and that's what I really enjoy, but it takes time to build the experience on all these things. So on any given week, all year, and actually people think off season is time to rest. Actually, for me, off season is usually even busier than race season. Because in the off season, you have the new partners, you have driver contracts sometimes, you have you put all the elements in place for the next season and onwards. But in any given week, whether it's race week or not, or just at home, personally, I'll be working on every single aspect of the business. So there's the racing side, obviously, the engineering, understanding what's happening there, like what's the latest ideas and what we're doing on the sim and so on, drivers. But you have the commercial side, partners, new partners, existing partners. You have the marketing side. What are we doing that's exciting and fun for next year, and all that part of things. And then you have all the management of the business, like any other business, finance, legal, all these aspects. In my position, you have to really be pretty good at all of them. You have to really understand. You have to be quite happy to talk about profit and loss accounts at 10 a.m. and driver something at 11 a.m. and a marketing plan at 2 p.m. and then cost cap at 3 p.m. And cost cap is the latest, financial regulations, the latest thing that's come our way from the FIA, which is great. But that's also added another whole layer of financial expertise needed.
Absolutely.
And it's really technical to be really good at cost cap. It's very, very technical finance work. So that's the best way to describe the job. Like it's super exciting, and obviously on a race week and at the track, it's a very visible part of the team where you're basically representing the team. But in the background, it's like just running a quite complex business with a lot of aspects to it. Because you get some businesses are profit and loss. I make something and I sell something and I hope I make a profit. Here you get all the elite sports aspect of it, the psychology of the team. You have the driver, athlete management aspect of it. You have just so many factors, which are again really great and really exciting and really really fun. But you have to have some passion for it, otherwise it's probably a bit too much.
Yeah, I bet. So I think we've got time for just one more quick question. So this is from Jody, and Jody's asked, if you could bring back one track that Formula E no longer races at, which track would you pick?
There's just so many, there's just so many that will blur into each other. There's so many memories. Sometimes, same question as which were the favorite ones, and you tend to my best memories are basically the track we won at, obviously. but that's also because they are the ones you remember the most, right? So you
Yeah.
have the tracks in terms of layout, like which ones are like super fun. So for example, Buenos Aires comes to mind in season 2. How many times you go there? Season 2, definitely. I remember when we won there, and then that was an amazing, super fast track at the time, really long straights, cars going over 200 kph in the second year. I mean, now the cars now on that track would be just incredible.
Yeah.
So it was an amazing city track with really long straights. But you know, obviously, the Paris track was unbelievable. Like we were literally racing around the Valley, do the Eiffel Tower in the background and the river. It was just the most amazing location. But now
Yeah.
the track was already too small for the cars at the time. Like it just wouldn't work now. But you know, I wish basically for the future of Formula E, back to the kind of growth of the championship we talked about earlier. I really hope that we can find some great city tracks like the one in Paris, but suitable to the performance of our new car. And it's obviously very difficult for Formula E and FIA because you have all the safety standards, rightfully. So when the cars are going, you know, almost 300 kph and so much grip and so on, you need much wider tracks, much more runoff, and so they are not easy to do. But yeah, some of these tracks, you know, New York, obviously, we had the most amazing track record in New York, right? We won both races on the first doubleheader, and I think last time I checked, I might be wrong, but I think we won as a team, we won half of all the New York races that have
Oh my
happened.
goodness.
We have the most amazing track record there. And then the atmosphere there, being on Brooklyn, the Manhattan in the background, like we've just been blessed for me by so many amazing locations, right?
Absolutely.
And that's what ultimately fuels the growth of the sport. So in the future, we have to find this balance of going to tracks that are really fast, and you could argue as the cars get a lot faster, the racing, you need more space. Like the racing is better if you have more space.
Yeah.
If the track is too small and cars are fast, you kind of trip on each other really. So we need these kind of fast tracks, but also we need these iconic city center races, right? And London, again, London, it's a bit like our Monaco in F1, right? Monaco, of course, we love because the Monaco F1 track is actually ideal for Formula E. It's great. It's a super smooth tarmac by our standard. It's just the right size. We can overtake. It's super exciting. So we all
Yeah.
love Monaco. It's obviously fantastic to be there. The infrastructure is great. But then you look at London in XL, that's our Monaco in a way, right? It's really narrow and it's difficult to overtake, and qualifying is super important. But then, you know, being in London is amazing, right? So
Such good atmosphere there.
yeah, it's a great event. So there are just so many. They're all there. But yeah, Buenos Aires from the past. Hong Kong was incredible. Racing around the harbor was just unbelievable, really. Yeah, so many to mention, really.
Yeah. Like you said, like Formula E is just blessed with so many amazing locations. And I think that's what makes the series so special. But thank you so
Yeah.
much for your time, Sylvain, for answering my questions and for answering the fans' questions. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. So thank you very much. And all the best of luck for the next season.
Thank you so much. My pleasure. And chat to you all soon.
Thank you. Bye. Sylvain.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope you enjoyed that. And well done to Jasmine as well. Because, you know, it's always, you know, daunting interviewing someone, but she did an absolutely splendid job. Again, apologies that we couldn't get...
She's a consummate professional.
Always. Much better than us. That's why she's on the team now. She's keeping us in check. Yep. She's making sure that we're not doing anything stupid. So that's that. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. So, what's happening now? We have 15 minutes. So, if you'd like to join the waiting room, now is the time to join the waiting room. Because we're going to do a quiz, right? And I'm going to explain the quiz, right? So, I have a question here, right? And you need to help Mr. Pickering out. So that's why, if you could come into the chat and if you've got an answer to this question.
I have a question.
Go on.
Do the people in the waiting room work as my phone a friend?
No, they can come in. You can bring them in, yeah. You can make them as a phone a friend. It's not you per se. Like, chat can answer the questions if they've got an answer. But if you don't think it's right, Pico,
I will try and refrain from looking at chat.
Right. If you don't think the question's right,
even though that there's a 20-second delay or something. Right.
So. But what I'm saying is, if you don't think... So say, like, someone comes on and says a name, and you're like, I don't think you're right. Because this is the twist. You can only get 2 wrong. So if there's 10 names.
Once I get 2 wrong.
That's it. You've lost. Didn't win the quiz.
Do you just pass it on to the next?
I could
person?
pass it on to the next person, but you're out. So if you want to get involved in the quiz,
out, yeah.
right?
and that's the important thing.
Yeah. If you want to get involved in the quiz, but they can help you while you're still playing, they can help you. If that makes sense. So the fans can help you, right? So that's the beauty of this. So join the waiting room! ! Discord if you're not in Discord, if you want to get in there. Because the question is, Mr. Pico, the oldest drivers in Formula E to start a race. The top 10 oldest drivers in Formula E to start a race. Now, before we start, we've got...
Okay,
wait,
before
we start...
10.
Yes, it's 10, but you can only get 2 wrong, and you can use the fans to help you.
Get 2 wrong.
Can only get 2 wrong. Right, so, fans, for you guys at home, if Pico gets it right, you'll hear this sound. Which he can't hear. And if Pico gets it wrong, you'll get this sound. So I will let you know I'll let you know. But yeah, as I said, if you want to come in and join. So, Mr. Pico. Top 10 oldest drivers to start a race. Say one name at a time.
Okay. Do I have a time limit?
No time limit. We've got till 9 o'clock, so hopefully by the end of the show we'll get there.
I've got 12 guesses to get all 10.
12 guesses to get all 10. And you can phone. So we've got Natalie's in the waiting room. So if you want to bring in Natalie at some point to see if she's got an answer, then you can bring in Natalie. Thank you, Natalie, for joining the waiting room. We will get you one if Pico needs you.
Right. Okay. So. Right. I've got some in my head that I'm fairly certain on.
Yep.
Right. So let's start with Jacques Villeneuve.
Is Jacques Villeneuve on the list? He is on the list. He is number 1 at 44 years old and 238 days.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Right. Lucas Di Grassi.
Is Lucas Di Grassi on the list? He is on the list. He's number 7. So he's 7th overall. Is Lucas Di Grassi.
And climbing.
39 years, and climbing. Although he's got a little bit of a way to go to number 6. Well, actually, he could get to number 5. Di Grassi, 39 years and 343 days.
So, I'm now gonna say Sarrazin.
Is Stefan Sarrazin on the list? He is on the list. He's 2nd, 42 years old and 256 days.
Okay. Jarno Trulli.
Jarno Trulli. Is Jarno Trulli on the list? He is on the list. He is 5th on the list at 40 years and 350 days.
Okay. This is where it starts to get more complicated because...
So you've got 5 of the 10, and you've still got your 2 lifelines. You can phone a friend. You can ask Natalie and Nikki. They're in chat.
No. I know. I'm saving them because I don't want to lose.
I don't want to lose. I love it.
Right.
I love it. It's hard. I love it.
Oriol Servia.
Oh, is Oriol Servia on the list? He is on the list. He's number 6 at 40 years and 181 days. That was a good find. I was worried if you'd forget that one.
Yeah. So can you tell me the numbers of who I've got so far?
So you've got number 1, number 2, number 5, number 6, and number 7. So you don't have 3, 4. You don't have 8, 9, and 10.
So I've got half of them so far.
Got half of them so far. It's been a good.
Right. Because that's the thing. Right. I'm gonna try and get I am gonna keep on persevering, but the second I get one wrong, I am calling up either Natalie or Nikki. Right. There's one that I'm not sure about, and I'm not gonna say it until hopefully I will think of someone else. No. I think that would have been too soon for that one. Welcome to the FE Bar. If you just joined us, you're watching me having a breakdown.
Yeah. So we're doing a quiz.
The
top oldest drivers to start a race. We have Jacques Villeneuve. We have Stefan Sarazan. We have Jarno Trulli. We have Oriol Servia, and we have Lucas de Grassi. There are 5 more that Pico needs to get. He's got some people in chat. We can bring them in. Why don't we just bring one in?
No. Oh yeah, no. I'm gonna call on Natalie. I'm gonna call on Natalie here. Because
hello, Natalie.
Right. I need a discussion point with you, right? Okay, because I know
I have a question.
You're a big McLaren fan.
Would Sam Bird count though?
That is what I'm thinking. This is someone who I'm thinking, is Sam old enough? Because Lucas was at 7, and I think Sam's a little bit younger.
Sam's not. I think Sam's 1 or 2 years younger than Lucas.
Yeah, but is 1 or 2 years younger going to put him outside the threshold? Is the big question that
I'd go Sam or Andre. Those are the 2 I was thinking of.
Yeah, no, Lotterer is a good. Let's go Lotterer.
Okay, gonna lock in Lotterer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if you're right. Andre Lotterer is on the list.
Hooray!
And he is
Just
third
won that. Thank you.
at 41 years and 253 days.
Before I go, if that's the thing, I'd go with Sam as well.
Okay. Yeah. No. No. So yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Do we take a risk on Sam? Let's take a risk on Sam. Sam Bird. Lock it in.
That is incorrect. That is the first one that you've got incorrect. Sam Bird is not on there.
Damn. Okay. Right.
How far was I off it?
Sam Bird is close. Sam Bird will be on this list once he starts the race in Sao Paulo. So he knocks the 10th person off the list when he starts the race in Sao Paulo.
Right.
Nicola says she has 2. If you want to bring Nicola in.
Yeah. I will do it. I just want to.
So you've got 1 wrong. So you've got 1 life left.
You know.
1 life left. So basically, you can get 3 wrong, right? But you've got. Well, if you get the second one wrong, that's it. You've got no more chances.
Yeah. What do you think about Lopez, Natalie? Do you think? Because I'm thinking that might be a little bit too early because it was Series 4 that he was last.
Yeah. I wouldn't.
Okay. Yeah.
She's my mum, and I'm sorry, but I wouldn't.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Natalie, I'm gonna swap you out for your mum, and
Alrighty then.
If I
Thank
need
you,
more
Natalie.
help, I'll come back to you in a bit. All
right. Adios.
Adios.
Right.
So that was a good one. You got Lotterer, but you also lost a life.
Yeah. I did lose a life with Sam.
So you need number 4, number 8, number 9, and number 10.
Okay.
Hello, Nikki.
Bye.
Hello.
Adios.
So, what names have you got for the top oldest drivers to start a race?
That's one I said. And obviously Natalie next my other one.
I couldn't hear you, Nikki.
Hello, Nikki.
Hello. I can hear there's a lot of noise in the background, and that's kind of distorting your voice.
I forgot to mute myself on the tablet.
Oh, there we go.
That's all right.
That's better.
What what are you thinking, Nikki? Because I'm struggling right now.
Natalie took mine. I said Andre Lotterer.
Okay.
Who have we had, Jack?
So we've had Jack Villeneuve, we've had Stefan Sarazan, we've had Andre Lotterer, we've had Jarno Trulli, we've had Oriol Servia, which was a good pluck from Pico, and Lucas de Grassi. So we need the 4th person, we need the 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Right. Do you know what? I think, well...
You have 2 lives,
hang on.
well, 1 life left.
In 2007, so I think... I'm gonna take a punt.
Go on.
Scott Speed.
Oh, I've got one. I've got one.
And Nicky's got one.
Hang on,
So you got Nick. You got Scott.
seconds.
Are you sure you want to lock it in? Let's listen to Nicky's answer first.
Yeah.
Bruno Senna.
Bruno Senna.
I'm not sure because he was only in series 2, and if and the thing is, if Senna's in there, Prost was about 10 years. Prost was 10 years older. Nico Prost, lock it in.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm going with that because that was the other one. It was either going to be Bruno Senna or Nico Prost.
Yeah, no, Prost was about 10 years older than Bruno Senna, so I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Prost, Jack.
We'll go with Prost then, Jack. Okay.
We locking in.
Yeah, lock it
Yeah,
in.
we're locking in Nico Prost.
That's incorrect.
Oh my god, I'm out. Right,
No, you're not out. You've got no more lives.
Right, okay. I'll just go through the other ones that I was gonna say. I was gonna say Liuzzi and Speed.
You don't have to lock these in.
No, because
Because once you lock them in, you're not out. You can't make any more.
I've got one.
You can't make any more
mistakes.
mistakes.
I've had 2 wrong
You've
answers.
got two. I think okay. We'll go 2 wrong out for this then to finish off because this is all we've got time for. We've got 2 minutes technically, right? So you can work together now, right?
Right.
Let's
get.
But if you get one more wrong, then we'll say you're out. So that's it. You've lost 2 lives. You've got 2 wrong. So next, you've got to get all 4 right now.
Right, we got to get all 4 right. Right. Right, guys, how are we feeling about someone like Scott Speed or Tonio Liuzzi?
Liuzzi, yes. Scott Speed, maybe.
Right. Let's go. That's the thing. I'm just worried that it's season 1, so it's too long ago.
Yeah, but Liuzzi was like old when he quit Formula 1, wasn't he?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. Right. Let's go. Liuzzi.
Locking it in.
Lock it in.
He's not on the list.
Right.
You're gonna kick yourself for some of these, right? We're out of time, and I did want to cut the show at 9. So, at number 4,
is Buemi on the list?
Buemi is not on the list. No, Buemi is not on the list.
He's too young. Same with Jeff.
I thought he was younger than. I thought he's younger than Bird. So so that's
number 4.
Can I say one?
Go on.
Nick Heidfeld.
Yep, Nick Heidfeld is 4th on the list at 41 years and 67 days old. Number 8 was Filippi Massa at 39 years and 110 days old. 9 and 10 are very different. 9 and 10 are very, very, very hard. Number 9 was Gary Paffett at 38 years and 112 days.
Oh God! How did I get that
You've set off the neon McLaren fans.
Yep, Gary Paffett.
Jesus.
And the last one was
Give me the initial. Sarko, of course.
37 years and 228 days.
I was thinking Takuma Sato, but he only ever did round 1. Yeah, he only ever did Beijing.
And that was at 37 years, and he's still going.
Yeah, no,
he's 47 years old. He's 47 years old, still doing Indy 500.
Yeah,
I was about to say, is it Indy
500? But yeah, that's wild.
At 47 years old. I didn't think that.
I'm embarrassed I didn't get Nick Heidfeld, but the rest of them, do you know what? I think I'm okay.
That's a good one. I've got another one. I've got another one ready for Monday.
Right.
Because on Monday we have an announcement, which I forgot to talk to us about, but we'll do it now.
Right. What we'll do, Nikki and Natalie will drop you back to
the waiting room, and then you can see the
announcement
live.
And then Jack will do his announcement.
And then we'll go home.
Yeah. All right.
Right. That was good fun. I enjoyed it. So our announcement is that we're back on Monday. With a special guest. Now, you may not have heard of this special guest.
We're on a time frame on Monday. I've got to play football.
Yeah, I know. I cancelled mine. We've got Nacho Calcedo. Right? Yeah, no, we've got Nacho Calcedo. Now, why this man is important is because this was the man that put the Madrid test together in that tight circumstances. So he will be joining us on Monday to basically talk to us about what happened, how it happened. Now, it will be a me and Pico probably interview session, but we will open up some questions if you guys want to ask some questions. So there will be a Zoom call link if you would like to ask Nacho a question about the logistics around moving the test to Valencia and Madrid. I think it'll be a really interesting conversation. We will be live at 6:30. That interview will take place at 6:30 on Monday. The show he'll probably be on for about half an hour. Then we'll do another quiz like what we've just done, and then we will wrap up the show around 7:30ish, 7:45 towards 8. Around that time, because Mr. Pickering might have to shoot off to play some football, but
shoot some goals. Actually, do you know what?
I saved them, mate. Go on.
Oh yeah, no. Today, someone. So it's a work team, which is our 6-a-side team, and one of the volunteers, love him to bits, Adam. Him and his helper Jacob have created some chants for our football team.
Oh my god, that's embarrassing.
The first one is bad.
That is embarrassing.
The second one is good, and the third one's about me.
What's yours? I want to hear yours.
Oh.
No swearing. Although I wanted to swear. I thought there'd be some swear words in it. I thought there'd be some swear words in it, to be honest with you. I really did.
Right. I need to make sure that this is the right one.
I can't believe we're still on air doing this, but this is brilliant. Yeah. This is part of the FE bar.
I'm hoping this will come through all right.
Oh my god, you playing it? All right.
Yeah. Because I don't know it. I only heard it for the first time.
Oh my god, this is terrible.
Right.
There's better not be any swear words in it, mate.
From Oxford all the way to Silverstone, he's scoring gold every stadium that he goes. He's got the magic, and don't you goddamn know? His name is Jackie Pico.
I love it. That's brilliant.
I love that.
He's brilliant.
I'm gonna make that my new ring.
I don't like Jackie Pico though. His name is Pico. His name is Pico.
Yeah.
He does the stereo. I don't know what it is. He scores all the. Are you a striker then?
No.
I'm in goal. I love it, mate. I played last night. Would have kept a clean sheet if it wasn't for my defender switching
dreadful.
off.
I am dreadful in goal.
Love it.
But the thing is, we're a fairly new team. We're sort of.
Where's the pitches? Where do you play? Is it at Silverstone? Imagine Silverstone had football pitches.
It's a toaster. So
what's a toaster?
The town that's literally just
Toaster,
down
the town.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like a toaster. What's a toaster, mate? What are you playing in a toaster?
No, toaster that's just next to Silverstone.
Okay.
Yeah. And so far we haven't got the W, but hoping for.
You haven't won a game yet.
Monday night. This is going to be our 6th game on Monday night.
Okay.
It's very new.
Pretty embarrassing.
And you know, like my athletic prowess.
Yeah, I know. It's brilliant.
So yeah, it's
top tier elite sport model. You are.
It's not good.
Top tier, mate. Top tier.
I
get winded walking up the stairs.
Do you have to run for 45 minutes? Is it 45 minutes or 40?
It's 30 minutes total. It's 50 minutes and a half.
50? What? How much are you paying for that?
It's like 3-4 quid.
Okay. But 6 aside. 55-minute games. Mate, I play 5 aside for 45 minutes.
Do you get a break halfway through?
We get a break halfway through, but like only for a minute or two. But it's like 20
Well,
minutes
yeah,
each way.
No, the break is a minute or two for us as well. So
that seems really short.
I'm not complaining. My
Seems
stamina
really
is
short.
dreadful.
I'd be fuming. Fuming I'd be playing for that long. But
I wish they were shorter. We'd have better results.
Paying 3 or 4 quid though does sound better than paying 7 or 8. But but you've got one more person, so if we have 5, it's more 7 or 8. If we have 6 or 7, then it's about 6 quid. But that's not too bad. Not too bad. Right then, I hope you had fun. Thank you for watching the FE Bar. We will be back on Monday. Have an amazing weekend, and join us 6:30 on Monday. Good night.